Okay, it's time to get another project here on the go. I just finished the Tony series with Shootout, the teams of New York, and that and a few other mini Shootout tournaments. And I wouldn't really call this a full project. This will be whichever one ends up rolling out here will be a longer project than some of the few others that I've done. I have said probably before that I want to limit myself to a max of three projects or replays at any one time, simply because there are so many hours in a day. There are only so many hours in a day. So for this one here, before I've used the mini tower and I've done like a 2d10 roll. For this one here, what I'm going to do actually is just a single roll of a d12. This here, a d12 that I just kind of like the color of. I think that's kind of nifty there. It's one that I acquired a little more recently. And what I've also done too, I also have this, I guess the tower and tray. Have not figured in as many videos on this channel because again, I usually prefer like a compact desktop setup, so I use this for that. And you can see them side by side to see relatively. I mean, this tower towers over this tower. Um, and what I've done actually with this one too is I've cut up these little foam rectangles and lined the inside of this tower so it doesn't make as much noise. But just before doing the roll, I want to talk briefly, like I do worst, about these projects and what they are. And I will end up doing all of them sooner or later, but I'm kind of an indecisive person by nature and somebody who's also equally eager and enthusiastic to do all three of these. So even though I was sort of gearing up to do the League of Champions and Presidents, I thought about it a little further. I did just complete Season 2 recently on this channel. I think those games were played maybe, I don't know, late January, early February, thereabouts. So it wasn't that long ago. And then some of these I'm just kind of looking to do sort of for the first time. So if I mean, again, I'm equally excited to do all of them. So if the roll should come up 9 to 12, then I will play the League of Champions and Presidents with Shootout Hockey. I'll talk less about that one because I've already talked about it recently in some videos. But in short, it's going to be teams, in this case, from the 60s with the Leafs, and then 70s, 80s. There is, the 90s with the Pens represented there, and a couple of teams from the 80s, and three teams from the 80s, actually. I think the Flyers. Oh, no, sorry, in the 2011 Vancouver. So that's right, so it will span 50 years this time because the 2011 Vancouver Canucks. Wow. Time for another sip of coffee. So that will span 50 years of all-time great shootout teams with the great teams of the past set. Going up to the top here, the 1962-63 WHL season. Actually, let me get a prop for that one. So that's just a basic bicycle deck of cards. But I have these here team cards. I've since cut them up into smaller squares. These are the teams from the Western Hockey League of 1962-63. I have in here, whoops, I have the WHL logo cards as well, which are about the same size as the team cards, though slightly smaller, so I can't fit the team cards in this case, unfortunately. If I tried to trim them down any further, some information would be missing. And I have the Pairadice cards in there as well for the same teams. So with the 62-63 WHL, what I will do is I will play the bulk of the games with DoC Hockey, with Deck of Cards Hockey, and then I'll play the odd, as I like to say, marquee game with Pairadice Hockey. It'll be a bit of a longer game. Sort of what I'm doing right now, actually, with my 1924-25 NHL season replay with Blue Zone Hockey, I call it Gray Zone Hockey, my Blue Zone mod, and Status Pro Hockey. And I have not left Status Pro Hockey behind. I still have Status Pro here handy, ready to go. Eventually, again, once I get a little later into the season campaign, I'll start, again, rolling out some marquee games with Status Pro. And then also once I get into the playoffs, and certainly the postseason, the off-season, well, not really off-season, the actual Stanley Cup Best of 7 between the then NHL champion and the champion of the Western or Pacific Hockey League. So that's coming up. That'll be played with Status Pro. And actually, also, I'm getting off topic now, like I do best, but I have an idea for an exhibition game actually with Status Pro. I have to print some more cards in order to play that game out, but look for maybe a one-off here in the not too distant future with the game Status Pro Hockey. So. With that said, moving over to this one now, the 2004-2005 NHL projection set that was made for the game Hockey Bones. I'm going to do similar to what I did decades ago with Stratomatic Hockey when I was just getting into the hobby. and that is redraft the league. So I'm going to have a fictional 6 league. This time it'll be a little different. The last time that I did it, again, decades ago, it was with the 1960 NHL season. So I'm pretty sure that I redrafted the entire league and reassigned all the players to 6 fictional teams, even though I probably left off a few of the really terrible players, because I do remember also having a free agent pool, sort of the dregs of that league. Stratomatic, you don't get all the cards anyway. But this one here, I'm not too worried about having all the cards actually, although I think they are all there, because this will just be, again, the cream of the crop, the creme de la creme of the NHL in 2004-2005. So look for 6 very stacked teams. I'm letting the cat out of the bag entirely here. I'm going to come up with some hypothetical fictional scenario whereby in 2005, either the league decided that since most of these teams are losing money, these smaller market teams, we're going to rebrand ourselves as a 6-team league once again, like the glory days of the original 6, and or the players start to, form their own rebel league, fictional 6 league or something like that. But again, what I'm going to do again is just draft the best of the best. I haven't decided actually. I've thought about maybe seeing if a few other people might be interested in, say, GMing a team, and so that way the draft is, if anything, even more impartial. But I will do my best actually to put together 6 very evenly matched and obviously highly stacked teams, taking all the best players from this season and again just assigning them to a half dozen teams. So yeah, 1 to 4 will be the 62-63 WHL season. And I should mention with this one as well, sorry. So I'm not going to do the entire, I think it was a 70 game or 70 something game campaign for that. I'm not actually going to do the full campaign. I'm going to do probably, I think the idea actually with this one would be to do like a 34 game campaign. I like doing full projects. I'm very project oriented. It's why maybe I play more faster playing games than some of the longer games where I'd be reduced maybe just to doing more one-offs and, exhibition style stuff. But I also like to do projects again that they sort of strike a balance between feeling like full projects, like full seasons completed, but they're not quite full seasons, and that they're reduced. So it's kind of best of both worlds there. I go for the happy medium, and so the 62-63 WHL, it will actually be probably about 34 games, something like that. Each team will play the teams in their division, probably 3 home and 3 away for 6. That's 18, and then 16. 2 home and 2 away against the team in the other division. And the Hockey Bones project as well, it'll just be a game or 2, home and away, all the teams against one another, because of course, it takes a little longer to play through a game. Usually with Hockey Bones, actually, I play it a period at a time, because I can get through a period of this in about the same time that it takes me to get through a full playing game of any of my my go-to faster playing hockey games. Anyway, with that said, I've talked for 8 minutes now about which of these 3 projects it will be. So here we go to roll it out. And again, I'll be equally happy with any of these 3. Let's see which one is coming up next. Again, if it's 9 to 12 League of Presidents with Shootout Hockey, I think it will be meant to be if it comes up as that. And the fictional 6 with Hockey Bones, that means I'll have to go out and print some cards and try to get creative, actually, because I won't need as many players as I will be printing. But anyway, we'll see what happens there. And this one here I actually have ready to go. So I will say if it does come up 1 to 4, in the very least, that will be convenient. So there are some unboxings actually on sleevings or whatever on the channel for things that figured into these sets. All right, so here we go. I'm going to shake it actually before throwing it through the tower. And that comes up as 6. So it's going to be the 2004-2000. Boy, this one's going to take more prep beforehand. Again, very happy to do it, though. I will be playing the fictional 6. The fictional 6 with Hockey Bones. I'm going to make an entire hockey league, and with the wonderful game Hockey Bones, I will play a shortened season, a campaign that will still, at least to me, feel like a full campaign, and playoffs, of course. Playoff series, and yeah, I haven't thought about the particulars of this one, but oh my goodness, I'm really excited actually to do this. So there you have it. It was meant to be that I go to Hockey Bones next. Okay, and of course I still have the 2 ongoing with the Mike Owens Quick Play Pro Hockey Redemption League and the 24-25 NHL full season replay. So those are my 3 projects now for the time being. Anyway, any time that you give to this, any consideration that you give to the channel, well, it's never expected. It is always appreciated. Have a great weekend. Cheers, thanks, and bye for now.